you're well. Today I've got something really exciting to show you. This is my new book, Sew Over It Vintage. It is out on June the 18th, so if you're watching this after then, you can now buy it. Really excited. I'm going to show you a little bit about what's inside and what kind of projects you'll find in there. And in honour, I am of course wearing something from the book. So this top is the Bodice Block, which you can make in the book and then lengthen and change the neckline. So it's really simple top. There we go, there's no darts, just really simple. I of course made it in sandwash silk. What other fabric would I make it in? But yeah, really like how it hangs, and because it's a nice fabric, it just looks quite special, but really simple and really easy to make. And this is the box pleat skirt that's in the book. La la la. Gathered at the sides, and I think it's actually clinging to my bottom, so I hope that wasn't indecent. I've got a bit of a static issue going on here. I made it out of the red luxury crepe that we sell on our online shop. We've got it in quite a few colours and absolutely love it. I've made ultimate shifter out of it. This is the first skirt I've made out of it, but it hangs beautifully and I think it's perfect for this project. So you can check out the link to that in the comments. So, the book. Okay, so if one was to buy this book, one would find 4 chapters. This is the opener page, I hope you can see that. So 4 chapters. There's Dabble with a Little Bit of Vintage. There's Make a Vintage Inspired Wardrobe. I love how I have to keep reading because I don't know my own book. It only took me a year to write and endless back and forths, but still I don't know the chapters. A little something to go with it, and Vintage Home. So basically there's lots of different levels in here. Things in here for intermediate to advanced sewers, there's stuff for beginners, there's projects if you want to spend an evening making something or an hour making something, and there's also projects in here if you want to spend a whole weekend, so real range of things. So dabble with a bit of vintage. This is kind of making a little bit of, doing a bit of customizing. So one of the projects, let me find it, talk amongst yourselves. This is a good one. Adding, I don't know if you can see that. Adding fur to a collar and cuffs, so fake fur of course, to a coat, existing coat. We've got adding a Peter Pan collar as well. So there's 4 projects in here for this section. Adding a bit of bling to a Breton shirt. I don't know if you can see that one, sorry. Yeah, I'm not going to do that on every single project. And yeah, it's just a little quick little touches. So that's dabble with a bit of vintage. Then make a vintage inspired wardrobe. So this is 10 things that you can make for your wardrobe from scratch, so garments. Basically there are no patterns provided. The book teaches you how to make your pattern. So you will get an introduction to pattern cutting on a really simple level, so it's really approachable and easy for everyone. Some of the dresses and tops are based on what I'm wearing, which is the Bodice Block. So you first start off by making this, and then we use that block to make different projects in the book. So to give you an example, the Anita tie blouse. So basically, Anita tie top is a drop waisted and it fastens with a tie at the side. So that's one of them. And then one of my favourites is the Sally 1950s Sally sailor blouse. So that's probably one of the hardest projects in there, but it is lovely. It's basically like this, but it's got a collar that ties like a sailor blouse. So there's tops and skirts. Sorry, there's tops and there's dresses, and there's also skirts. So the skirts, like the one that I'm wearing, you'll learn how to make that from scratch. There's also a full circle skirt, and then there's a variation on the full circle skirt that you can add it to a cardie and make a dress. Now I don't know if you can see that, but there was an amazing car that we went down to Columbia Road to shoot this, and there was this vintage car that was like as though someone had dropped it there, especially for our day. It was just so perfect. And I had this big white balloon, and yeah, it looks really lovely. I hope you could see that in there. But yeah, amazing photography from Tiffany Mumford. She was incredible. And amazing hair and makeup from Caroline Wren as well. So I was very spoilt. So that is the sort of main section, I'd say. That's some of the harder projects and all the dressmaking projects in there. There's also a little something to go with it, which is things like fascinators. So I show you how to make a fascinator. I actually show you how to make a veil as well. So any brides to be, don't spend a fortune on a veil, learn how to make it. It's really easy actually, it's not too difficult. The scary thing is cutting the actual netting, because once you kind of cut that, there's no turning back. But then that's true of all sewing when you're cutting, so it's not really that scary. But yeah, really simple hand sewing project. Then there's something with leather. There is this is my From Russia with Love hat. Yeah, I look like some kind of Russian spy in that one. And then there's a lovely little lace doily necklace project as well. I don't know if you can see that. So these are just some of the things in there. There's loads in here. There's a bag with leather straps, and there is even a men's tie. Ta-da! Modelled beautifully by my boyfriend Matt, which was very nice of him. So then after that is vintage home. And vintage home is basically things from placemats. So these I made out of doilies that were dyed and then stitched on. So it's a really nice, easy beginner project with a little bit of a play around with the not free embroidery, because you're couching over it. So it's quite nice to have a play with that. And then we've got a Pouf, which is right there. I'm going to show you it. The Pouf. This was a class. You can't see me sit on that, so I'm not going to do that. The Pouf was a class that I used to run at Sew Over It, and I decided to put it in my book because it's really popular, and I thought it'd be nice if people who can't come to Sew Over It can also learn to make it. And then there is 3 different cushions. So a cushion with piping, a cushion with a zip, and a regular envelope back cushion. So for beginners out there, some nice easy projects. There's also some really little things like these little lanterns, which are made from embroidery anglaise. Really simple little project. The quilt. You can't really see it, but basically it's an applique quilt. So it's got a big applique flower on top, which you quilt through. So yeah, for those of you that are thinking about doing some quilting, there's a quilt in here too. There's actually 30 projects in this book, so hopefully there's something for everyone. It is called Sew Over It Vintage, so of course it's vintage, but it's approachable vintage. You don't need to be wearing victory rolls to wear the outfits. It's not kind of I'm in a chorus scene from Fred Astaire kind of vintage. It's wearable in your wardrobe, everyday kind of vintage. So little touches. It may just be a hint or a nod to an era. So for those of you that know our patterns, I absolutely love the 50s, the 60s. There's also some things inspired by the 70s in here and the 40s. So there's lots of things from those eras. It may even be just the fabric that I used. So for some of the home projects, it was just fabrics that were vintage that I incorporated into the projects. So it is definitely everyday modern vintage, which I hope you will all love wearing and trying out. So that's everything that I have to show you today. I hope you enjoy the book. I would love to hear what you've got to say about it, and I would love to see what you've been making from the book. So do please check out our Pinterest board and our blog, because I'm sure there'll be all sorts of things going on there for you guys to get involved with and share your makes. But for now, that's it. I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.